I'm now officially accepting theories about Carol Burnett's character in Better Call Saul.
Okay, she is related to someone who you've met in the show, a character you've met. But
wow, you're allowed to say that?
Well, I'm saying it. Hi, I'm Bob Odenkirk.
And I'm Rhea Seehorn from Better Call Saul.
We're going to discuss fan theories about Better Call Saul for Vanity Fair. Watch out, look out, here it comes, spoilers.
I mean, maybe.
Okay, let's see what theories you all have come up with.
From @EricItaliano. Incoming Better Call Saul hits bong theory. Okay. What if Saul becomes the version we see in Breaking Bad because he remains a cartel lawyer to protect Kim's life? That is the price he pays for her safety. Like how Jesse was a meth cooking prisoner, but less literal chains.
That's a good.
That's not bad.
This guy a writer? Why is there a bong involved in this?
I'm not sure.
No way.
I'm waiting for the bong part.
Whatever kind of pot you're smoking is making you smarter. So in other words, he becomes Saul, the one you see in Breaking Bad. And the backdrop of it all is he did it to protect Kim as she carries on in life.
But isn't he already a cartel lawyer at this point in the story?
He is, but the point is, I guess, that he would commit to it, and that's really what's driving him, is that he knows if he serves these guys, they'll leave you alone. I think that's kind of beautiful.
Sure, it's possible.
That's not what happens. It says /Better Call Saul. Maybe it's from the show. Okay, so as we see when the people are emptying out Saul's house at the beginning of season 6, episode 1, there is like one reference to Kim, the tequila bottle lid. Nothing else. And obviously there's no mention of her whatsoever in Breaking Bad, so is Kim dead? No way! Kim is alive! I think if Kim got killed by the cartel or whatever, then Jimmy Saul would have pics of her all around and wouldn't be scared of talking about her or even mentioning that he was married once. However, I think what happens is the vacuum cleaner guy or someone similar comes and gets her, like he does for Walt and Jesse in Breaking Bad. Her identity is erased and she goes to Nebraska, Kansas. That's why Jimmy can't talk about her, even in Breaking Bad, to protect her. Why else would she go unmentioned? I bet the ending of Better Call Saul is going to be Jimmy and Kim reuniting after Breaking Bad. There's a lot to take apart in there. You're pitching a lot. You're trying to get the whole season in to one tweet. Two things, these two pitches, both pitched that Jimmy is going to do something to protect Kim.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Very smart.
Yes, and he's picking up on the whole Nebraska thing. Kim says she's from a small town on the border of Kansas and Nebraska, and Jimmy goes to Omaha, Nebraska.
But he's saying Jimmy can't talk about her because her identity's been erased, and he doesn't want to get her into trouble. Here's the deal. In Breaking Bad, there was no reason to talk about her. I mean, he was dealing with Walter White, and he had a lot of problems. Saul's personal life never came into it. The assumption I had was he was just going to strip clubs on Friday night and playing a little golf. And
golf, really?
Oh, yeah. I don't think she's, I know what happened. Here's what's great about what you said. The show started as, how is he going to become Saul Goodman? Why? And it became Kim Wexler and Jimmy together, and why are they together, and what's driving them, and how is that going to go awry? And in the end, I think the writers acknowledge with the ending that they wrote that it really is, this relationship was the real life of the show, inner life and outer life.
This is from They Hulk @BizMichael. That cabbie that recognized Saul in the Gene stories may have been sent by Kim. He has a very particular air freshener that she was seen holding in court. Ooh. I totally missed that when I was playing that scene.
Were you? Were you holding that air
He's
freshener?
talking about when she's defending the guy and Cliff is watching her help this PD client, and they're talking about, is it really the same air freshener?
I bet it is.
I had no idea.
Are you holding that air freshener? I gotta watch this show.
I totally did not know that was the same air freshener. Obviously, I can't spoil it if she sent the cabbie, but clearly I didn't do my air freshener homework.
I like that you recognize that the cabbie that recognized Saul in the Gene story.
Right, that question has to be answered for sure.
Yeah, that guy IDs Saul.
Yeah.
And then you don't know what happens, but something happens. This is from Ann S. I noticed Kim didn't have the perfectly curled ponytail at the end of the finale. For me, it's always been a symbol of how she puts up a front for the world. I wonder if she's been playing the perfect lawyer all through the series, and now The real Kim is showing through.
I'll tell you this, Anne. They are very particular about when her hair is down and very particular about when that ponytail loosens or gets tighter. You are not wrong to connect that to her
Inner
psychological state.
Yeah, so watch what happens.
Yeah.
Watch what happens to the ponytail. I'm not saying it dies, but the ponytail is not long for this world. You'll see. Patrick Scott Patterson. Kim Wexler doesn't die at the end of Better Call Saul. She actually screws Jimmy over and disappears via the vacuum cleaner man. There he comes up again. Robert Forster.
I know. So
Great
sad.
guy, part of Breaking Bad and
Unfortunately
part
passed away.
of El Camino, and did a little recording too for Better Call Saul, right?
Yeah.
It would have been great to see him come through for Kim. There's not an easy out. There's no easy dissembling of this relationship. People don't just escape from it because it's not a business relationship. They're in love with each other and in love with being together. So there's just no easy way out of like, I'm gonna pay a guy and disappear. That's too easy.
That's a good point, because there's the legal issues therein when we end the season, but then there's the relationship, which is
They have
much more complex about what does
yeah.
it mean to get out of that? What does it mean to get away from that? Is this OJ Man?
OJ Man
OJ Man 654. I'm gonna pretend it's about orange juice. I really like the theory that it'll end with Gene doing nothing. He never finds Kim. He never goes back to ABQ. The taxi driver was never any threat to him or his identity. The cops will never find him. He's just doomed to live the rest of his life as a lonely Cinnabon manager.
And I like the muted nature of it, where they just
And the
give
very
it-
existential nature.
Yeah.
It's like he wandered off into Camus land.
The problem with the theory is that what I think we've seen so far is that Gene, Saul Goodman, Jimmy McGill, can't remain in hiding. It's
Right.
killing him. So he can't carry on in that way.
I totally agree with that. I would say that who you really are, question they constantly bring up, that idea of like that simmering lid that Kim and Jimmy have, this suppression of something, it's almost like they can't deal with the energy just ceasing. It's gotta go somewhere.
Right.
It can change, but it can't just stop.
Posted by you, Posty McPosterson. At the end of intro to season 6, episode 1, it took place after the events of Breaking Bad. The scene ends with a wine top Kim has taken as a trophy. It's actually a tequila.
Yes, the Zafiro and Nago.
Where we see the wine top fall into the gutter and the camera zooms into it and rests on it. I'm thinking at a certain point we will cut back to that stopper and a post-Breaking Bad Kim will pick it up. And after the events of season 6, episode 3, I think they want us to believe she won't live until the end of the McGill story timeline. I understand the idea that Kim would die. In a show where there's life or death stakes, I get it. You
would also be a huge
should be
catalyst.
concerned about that. On the other hand, because some major characters just were slaughtered,
Yeah.
it feels like everybody can't die all
There's
at
that.
once, unless it's an apocalyptic, scenario.
Delaney Jordan.
Okay, Delaney.
Okay, I'm now officially accepting theories about Carol Burnett's character in Better Call Saul. I've seen people propose she's Howard's mother or the replacement for the vacuum guy. Oh, that's good. But I think we gotta prepare for any contingency.
Okay, she is related to someone who you've met in the show, a character you've met. But
Wow, you're allowed to say
it would
that?
I'm saying it. It would take you a while to figure that out, who that is. You'd never guess
No.
it. You'd never guess it.
People
And yet
can
it
guess what's gonna
matters. And
happen.
yet it matters.
It totally matters. Thinking about
she
her
is-
is a good thing to be thinking about.
Yeah, Carol Burnett is outstanding. She's one of the great actresses of our time. Okay, this is from Buck DeSystem. My theory is that Kim doesn't get killed. Word travels fast in those circles. It's unlikely that Saul would be able to maintain a popular, lucrative law practice for criminals if everyone knew that a cartel boss just whacked his wife.
That's fair.
Yeah, so no one would want to associate with Saul, would you? Maybe she just moves to another city and runs the legal clinic. I mean, she likes helping people, that's for sure.
Yeah.
She's kind of rejected life in a high-end law firm to serve as many people as she can
Yep.
in an almost manic, we could say,
It is a bit manic.
behavior.
This
of-
constant like offsetting your carbon footprint kind of theory about doing bad in the world of like, I'll just help enough good people and then this won't.
Then I can do some bad shit when I feel like it. The problem with your theory, Buck, is that it doesn't address what's gone on between these two. And there's no way we leave the show without looking at that and taking it apart a bit.
Okay, Brad Dukes. My theory is Walt shows up at Cinnabon on his way back from New Hampshire.
Wouldn't that be great? I always loved the idea of Saul pulling his car into that octopus car wash. And those two sort of standing right next to each other, holding it in. Obviously, I can say that because it doesn't happen. Of course, we know we're going to see Walt and Jesse, and we're going to see them more than once in the final 6 episodes. And they're very well used, very smartly and economically used, not just to look what we got, but to,
As they said,
to
they never wanted to do
explore.
a drive-by cameo. It had to be for the purpose of the story.
I wouldn't have been against a drive-by cameo because it's just fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
The notion that in a town like Albuquerque, you would cross paths with people. It's a big town, but it's not that big.
Rohan Javet Beg. Kim Wexler survives this series, and we will see her awkwardly reunited with Jimmy during the series finale. Both of them transformed and unsure of where to go from there.
You know, that's interesting.
It is interesting.
Because it suggests that the depth of character is there of like, maybe they have, I guess, places inside internally to go still. They're not just cornered by their personality type.
I find that interesting.
Most TV shows wouldn't go that deep, I think. They really need their characters to behave in the same way over and over. I think we're on a show where they could
They do let them evolve.
grow and evolve in surprising ways. I don't know. I would like you to be in the writer's room next time.
Yep.
Sarah has this to ask. Young Jesse will be represented by Kim for dealing. And we will see Walt as his teacher, and that's how they both come back. It'd make more sense given their first interaction with Jimmy is in Breaking Bad. Interesting.
Wow.
So Jesse is represented by Kim for some issue he had.
Okay.
And we see Walt is his teacher. And that's how they're both in the next 6 episodes. You know, Jesse kind of knew Saul, right?
Yep.
And there's an assumption not just as, oh, there's a guy on TV and that just an.
But when we first meet Jesse in Breaking Bad, has he already been in legal trouble?
I'm sure he has.
Well, it's possible. I like that one.
I like it, but we can't say no more.
We love reading these.
Can't wait for you to see what happens.
I don't think anybody has guessed.
No, but some people were close.
And thoughtful in a way that is the right path.
In the way that the show is thoughtful.
Correct.
Like, yes, you're paying attention to how the writers are thinking about what the show is. Thank you for watching.